Hey guys, in today's tutorial we're going to learn on how to create a curtain in Marvelous Designer and add animation to it, then export it back to 3ds Max. So let's get started. Alright, so first we need to model a window and some basic model of the ground and some of the wall. So this one is just very basic modeling. And we're gonna leave this blank without any glass, so that will be so that the wind will come through here and do the glass and the window frame so that the curtain won't overlap on the glass and on the sliding door. So that's why we need this kind of model before we start the creating the curtain in Marvelous Designer. Alright, so let's gonna export this one now. Export selected. So I already made one, but I'll just overwrite it. So export as OBJ or FBX, but we'll just choose OBJ for now. And then this one should be checked, flip YZ axis, and leave the others as it is. Let's export. Done. And then let's open up Marvelous Designer. So I'm using Marvelous Designer 9. So there's a lot of different versions. I think it's up to 10. But yeah, I think Marvelous 7 doesn't have any options for the pin. So they have pin, but it's not that versatile. So we're just gonna use 10 for now. So let's import the avatar. So go to File, then import OBJ. Let's open this one. Alright, load as avatar, photo scale, check. Okay. And then now we're gonna create the curtain model. So let's go here under the polygon. We'll choose rectangle. Alright, so we're gonna create now the line here, other rectangle. So this will be the holder for our curtain. So we're gonna create another one for the curtain. Right. I'm just gonna move this one. So in case your gizmo is different, just go here in the gizmo and then local coordinate. Sometimes it's screen or world, but you can choose this one. Alright, so we're gonna move this to Control Z. We'll go to here, transform, so you can move both. And then go to this viewport and we'll move it back near to the window. Right. So we're just gonna eyeball this height of the. So let's say it's gonna end here for the curtain holder. This one was gonna change the segment here, make it shorter. So edit pattern, and then you can just move Control Shift, steady shift, so it will snap. So it will update on the other viewport on the side. See, right? Maybe a little bit more. Okay, so now let's do that one again. So now we're going to stitch it. So go here, segment sewing, and then click, and then click. Right. So now we're gonna freeze this holder here. So because we don't want this to get animated or simulated. right? So we're gonna freeze that one. Although you can, I think you can still move it. Yeah, you can still move it. So we're just gonna move that holder here. I think our holder is too wide, so we're just gonna make it, I'm gonna edit it shorter. Okay. So it's a trial and error in making this marvelous designer curtain. But usually we make it wider for the curtain. So we'll try to simulate it now. Go here. I think it's too wide, so that's why it's taking time to simulate. Maybe we'll cancel it and then we'll make it a little bit shorter, not too wide. And then what we'll do is we'll change the particle distance to 25. Particle distance is like a mesh, the density of the mesh of the curtain. Right. So let's just wait for the simulation to finish. We want it to be straight because once we transferred it to the animation here, we want it to be really straight, not like flowing in other ways. Alright, so we're gonna cut some segments more. Just gonna stop this one. Alright, we'll just move this one higher more, maybe more. We don't want it to touch on the ground. Alright, let's simulate again. Maybe more. Oh, maybe this. Alright, that should do. Okay, so we'll bring the particle distance back to 20. You can bring it down to 50, so the lower it goes, the higher the density of your mesh. But for now, we'll just go with 20. Right, so let's say we're good with this one. We're gonna add now the wind modifier. So let's go to display, environment, and then go show, where was that one? Show wind controller. Alright. Alright, so let's move the wind maybe just here. And then we're gonna point it downwards so it won't hit the mesh around here, just somewhere here, right? Okay, and then we're gonna turn this on, and then set it to planar, and then we'll set the strength to 80. We don't want a very strong breeze, just a very subtle breeze for our fly through, so this strength will do. And then for the decay, we'll set it to 50 and frequency to 2000. And then turbulence will be 0.1. Alright, so once we're done with that one, we'll go to animation. Alright, and then we're gonna click, I'm just gonna check. Alright, we're gonna add a pin for this one now. So you go here, and then, wait, Lasso. Right. So you go here and then steady click and then pin lasso. Right. So we're just gonna pin this one around here so it won't be affected by the wind. Okay. Or you can add, let me just delete again. Delete all pins. Pin as box. Right, we're just gonna pin this part here. Okay, that's right. So we're gonna hit the record this time, not this one. Because if we hit the simulate, it will just gonna give us some preview. But this one, it will record the animation and still gonna give us some preview. Right. So we're gonna set this one first to real time loop. And then let's hit record. Alright, so it's starting now. So if we right click on the viewport, there's some shortcuts here for the left view, right view, or top. So hopefully this setting will give us a very smooth breeze, not too strong, just a normal breeze for our fly-throughs. So we want curtain animation that goes on the corner and goes back, and then goes back again, but very slight movement, not too strong. So the reason why we did this model for the window is that it won't overlap on your scene in case this one will go back, especially if you have that model, the window model on your max file. So you have to export that one and use that one as a base for your curtain. So every time the wind goes back and forth, it won't go through the window frames. So you can see now it's gonna come back after it's blown away. I'm just gonna pause this one because it's gonna take time to render. Alright, so we're just gonna stop at 300 frames. We won't gonna render it for a very long timeline because it's for animations usually it just takes like 8 seconds or 10 maximum for fly-throughs. So we're gonna stop it now. We're gonna bring the time frame back to 0 or here. Go to start, and we're gonna play it now. We're gonna play it as real time, not frame stepping. Alright, I think it's pretty good for a slight breeze animation, curtain animation. So if you go top view 5, it's not hitting the window. Even if it's hitting, it bounces back. It's not overlapping. See? See, it stops through here. Looks fine, I think. Even for that perspective. or here. It's okay. Yeah, I think that this will do. So if you want any like a very strong wind or breeze, then you can set the strength to 120. I don't recommend it to be 500 or above 120 because it's really strong. And the frequency, you don't want to set it very low because it's just gonna sway every second. It's gonna look weird. This one is much more natural looking animation. Alright, once you're happy with it, then we can export it to 3ds Max. Let's stop this one. Okay. And then let's open up the file and then export as point cache 2. So I made already one, but we'll just replace it. Save. We'll choose point cache 2. Save. And then it will ask you if you want to be a single object. So we want it single object. And thin. You can experiment with thin or thick, but we'll go for thin. Thick, I think it's gonna be doubled mesh, but I'm not sure how it works with the material. During the animation it might cause some flicker, but yeah, for now we'll just use thin. Then we're just gonna export. Yeah, that will be fine. Alright, let's export it now. Okay, so we're done, and so we go to 3ds Max now, and then we're gonna import that curtain animation. Alright, so that's MDPC2. Alright, we'll leave it as it is. Okay, so there it is. So as you can see, there's no animation yet. So we're gonna add a point cache modifier. And then we're gonna load it where we save it. Okay, so we're gonna load it now. Okay, so sometimes, not sure what's the reason why it goes like this, but you can just rotate it back to its proper orientation and then set it to 325 frames and then to 300. I think our last animation was 300. Yeah, 330. But anyway, we'll go for 300. Okay. Standard. Alright. For high quality. Right. Alright, so it's gonna play for until 300 or 330. So it depends on how many frames you where you stop on the simulation here in Marvelous Designer. Let's go to perspective. Okay, so it looks pretty nice. It will look nice with with your fly through. So this here, the curtain holder, you can just hide this one with the on the roof, or well, I mean on the ceiling, or on the curtain, what do you call that one, like a box here, so you can hide it. And so let's see if it overlaps. So wait, let me just okay, so as you can see it's flat here, so it's not overlapping with the glass or any frame. So that's why we need to export an OBJ model of your window frame. So you can put your sofa here or anything that it won't hit with the curtain. That's why I put some pins here, just in case, just to give you an idea that you can also pin it, or up to you, you can just no pin on the whole curtain model. Or you can also make this into a point cache, I mean into a Corona proxy animation, but there's no point to it because it's just one curtain. But yeah, you can still make it into a Corona proxy animation. So what else did I miss? Oh yeah, on Marvelous Designer, if you don't like the animation of your first simulation, you can just, let's say you play it here, right? You don't want to delete, right click delete, you don't want to delete through this frame here because it will stop to this frame. So what you'll do is go back on the start and then delete. Okay, or else you're gonna go back to simulation and then you click simulation again just to make it relax. At least here in the animation panel, you don't have to go back here. Just go back to start and then delete that frame. So let's say you want this one to be pretty strong wind, 20. And let's say you don't like that animation, so we're just gonna stop and then we're just gonna go back, start again, and then delete. Alright, so let's say you want it to be like 120 the strength of the wind. Let's just test this one, but it's gonna be pretty strong, I think. Let me just pause this one for now. Alright, so we're gonna just stop the animation, the simulation. Let's see how it looks with a strong wind. Yeah, it still looks pretty good, but I prefer the slower wind, but depends on your scene. So if the client requested more breezy wind, then you can go for this one. And you can use this one also for your stills. It's not just for animation. At least you get lots of variety of dynamic of the curtain Alright, so what else did I miss on this tutorial? I think I've covered everything for this one. So I hope you've learned a lot, and thank you for watching. See you next time.